From the first episode, the intensity is there between Reese and Kerry and every other character. There's just little fires everywhere, and it's just, it's intense, man.
The biggest things I learned from both of them. For Kerry, it was you have to put your all into it because that person needs what you're giving. And then for Reese, it was more like if you just put yourself into a scene, everything will fall into place.
I think I learned how to be a better actor and then also just how to be a good person. When you walk in every day, it can be like 6 a.m. and you might not have, had your morning coffee yet, but still just walking in and just being kind to each and every single person that you see and just how it really sets the tone for the rest of the day.
I think it's really beautiful that they're powerful executives, they're brilliant artists, and just fantastic human beings, and it shows that you don't have to compromise any of those things to be a successful human being or to be like a good person. All of those things are parts of being a good person,
One thing I learned was that a female-driven production company, crew, cast is a little more organized than some other productions I've worked on. It made it amazing experience.
Reese, it blows my mind the amount of research she does on a character and the relationships with that character. Like, I swear she knew as much about my character as I did. And it was really, really cool to see.
You can't put a price on a mother's love. Maybe you should wear your hair down. Mom, it's actually your best feature. So is it just you and your mom?
Mm-hmm. We move around every few months. She hides stuff, just like everybody else.
I called the person that you listed as your previous landlord, and strangely, he didn't seem to know you.
Something that I connected with is that Pearl she's such a creative person, and I like to consider myself a creative person as well. Also just the character arc of, watching her come into her own and finding her voice. It was such an honor to play Pearl.
What I loved about playing my character Lexi is that she is completely different from who I am and has some very interesting, morally gray things going on, which was really, really exciting to explore.
I actually connected to Moody quite a bit, maybe a little less in his general dislike of people, but I think I connected with him being more reserved, a little more on the introverted side.
As Trip, I think that he has a lot of labels that are placed on him, but there's really more to Trip, and he's a very multi-dimensional person, and he's not just this player, jock kid that everybody thinks he is.
Izzy and she plays violin, and I've played violin for a while when I was younger. I personally didn't like it when I was younger because I had no patience, but now I do.
If you want to live in this house, you live by my rules.
Who said you have to sit back and take it? If you don't stand up for yourself, who will?
She has completely infiltrated our lives. I need to figure out who this woman is.
Being born in 2003, I realized I knew very little about the 90s. I knew practically nothing about the 90s. And so I did. I found a bunch of music. There was a show on Netflix I watched that was all about the 90s. A little bit of everything, but mainly the music for me.
Mostly the style. The style was very, very different, especially from what I wear compared to what Izzy wears. I mean, it's a complete contrast, so I had to learn how that rebellious, angsty teen acts.
I learned a lot more about 90s TV and film. I had no clue what real world was. And so, there's a lot of scenes where, everybody's coming home from school and we all are sitting down and watching Real World. And the first time that I saw that in the script, I'm like, what is this show?
Yeah.
And so I went back and watched it, and it's really good. It's super intense, but it's really good. And then also, there was a time that we played a game with Miss Reese on set about 90s trivia, but movie trivia.
Yeah.
It's
really hard.
Yeah, the set was, incredible. And in the Richardson house, there were a bunch of 90s, DVDs. And so I think I knew only 2 of the 6 movies that she asked me about. So I definitely learned a lot about what, people were watching back in the 90s.
Yeah, I agree with the television. It was part of my research from the showrunner Liz to watch 90210 because my character Lexi is obsessed with the show and bases her relationship with her boyfriend off of Brenda and Dylan and when they've, so all of that is connected. So I watched a lot of 90210, learned how to use a pager, learned how to walk in those Steve Madden shoes. I don't know how women did it. Those things are really uncomfortable.
My brother grew up in the 90s, he's a millennial, and so I created this playlist and I was like, I remember that song, you know what I mean? Putting it in the AirPods and I'm like, it's my brother's stuff. Because I'm out here like Lady Gaga and stuff, you know what I mean? Like I'm on that grind.